Hi, I'm Kim, and I want to talk about Joe Biden's 40, yes, 40 executive orders. Today is the 29th of January, and he took office on the 20th. So, not a very long time. But before I talk about all these, I'll go through this list that has been provided by ABC News. I'm sorry, not ABC News, NBC News. Um, I want to mention a quote from Joe Biden. He said, as late as October, this past October, that you can't legislate through executive orders unless you are a dictator. So, with that in mind, let's go over his current executive orders. So, day one in office did a memorandum freezing approval of rules passed in the final days of the Trump presidency. Because, Orange Man bad, right? Executive order to rejoin the Paris Agreement on climate change, which costs us tons and tons of money. And we have to have very tight rules on emissions and things like that, while other countries who don't pay near as much as we do get to just, do whatever, basically. They have a long time before they have to tighten up. He also did on the 20th executive order to promote racial equity. Not equality, but equity. So the difference between equity and equality, equality is having equal opportunity. Equity is having equal outcome. So, say you got two people that want to buy a house. One person works really hard, saves their money, has good credit. The other one doesn't do any of that stuff. But equity would say that they both get to buy a house. Yeah. So that's that. Okay. Moving right along. Proclamation ending ban on U.S. entry from majority Muslim countries. So, yay! We're going to get more terrorists. Fun. I've heard things saying that ISIS is starting to come back, and they just couldn't wait, right? Whew, yay. Joe Biden's their man. Okay, and we have executive order executive order requiring mask wearing on federal property, of which he promptly broke his own rule. They were taking pictures. Oh, but he was celebrating, his press secretary said. He can, screw off on his own order because he's celebrating, but don't you dare. I live in Tennessee. I am a refugee from the state of California. And I'm not going to say I hate California because I love it. And I miss it terribly. But I don't miss what it's become. But anyway, there's mask orders. I have asthma. I don't technically have to wear a mask. And I don't. But truthfully, I don't wear them because I'm not buying into the bullshit. Why do I need to be so protected from a disease that has a 99.9% chance of survival? Why do I need a vaccine for that? What? Anything. Anyway, I had a woman try to start a fight with me, like physically start a fight with me. She's pushing me in the chest and screaming at me, telling me that I'm stupid and everything, and I don't care about anybody else. because I wasn't wearing a mask. She didn't even ask me if I was one of the medically exempt people or anything. She just started calling me names and told me how stupid I was. And then she pushed me and then starts telling everybody that I hit her. But, Karens are Karens, right? Anyway, next is executive order coordinating a government-wide COVID-19 response. I mean, because why not, right? They need a coordinated response. But isn't it miraculous how, just like President Trump said, right after the election, lo and behold, the virus isn't that bad. Oh my gosh, they got to recalibrate the test because they're getting too many false positives. They got to, they're going to open the states up and do business because it's wrecking the economy. I mean, Trump said that repeatedly, but nobody wanted to listen. But miraculously, now that the election's over, woohoo, we can open up. Let's see. We got executive order revising immigration enforcement policies, meaning they're not going to send your butt back if you're here illegally. So, then we have executive order undoing regulatory restrictions on federal agencies. So that's that rule that Trump had instituted that had agencies, they had to discard 2 regulations for every one proposed. And if you recall, when that started happening, oh my gosh, things just opened up. When you take away all these restrictions and all this meaningless bull crap that they do, you free up people to actually get things going. But we can't have that, right? Executive order incorporating undocumented immigrants into the census. So they want to be able to count illegals so that they can add more representatives so that they, because illegals will vote Democrat, and they just said they're not going to deport them, so more are coming, and you already see the caravans coming. They want to add them to the census because they want to drown out your voice. Next one is executive order refocusing on the climate crisis and canceling the Keystone XL permit. So the Keystone XL pipeline, which is a more efficient means of transporting oil, it's safer than transporting it by trucks or trains. They canceled that. That put 10,000 people out of work. And I'm sure that doesn't even include, the people who were peripheral to that, like the stores that were in the area where the pipeline's being built. These workers got to shop somewhere. They got to do things and get, have services and all that. So all those extended people are, screwed. But, that's okay because climate change. Executive order banning discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. Okay. I mean, I thought we already didn't, but whatever, what do I know? Because, we got to have, maybe that's the one that people are talking about, that because they want to let biological men play in women's sports, because those women, you just can't have a sports without a man showing you how to do it right. Women will, I mean, that basically ends women's sports, right? Because a biological man is stronger, faster, better physically, not mentally, but physically, than women. I mean, it just is. That's biology. Oh, but no, 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 right? You can't have biology. Let's see. Memorandum revamping regulatory review. In Memorandum, Biden directed head office of the budget and management to oversee an effort to modernize and improve regulatory review process. Huh? Executive order mandating ethics pledge for government appointees. They're going to mandate an ethics pledge for government appointees. But do you remember the scandal when they said Trump was getting people to pledge loyalty, even though that's not what he was doing? But what's the difference? What's the difference? Proclamation pulling funds from the border wall, because how can we get all those illegals to come in here and be counted on our census if they run into a wall? And that also, had some pesky jobs that we just can't have. You can't have people working. So we got to stop that, right? Because borders, ooh. Executive order pausing federal student loan payments. The federal government shouldn't be in student loans at all, because education has gotten so far out of whack, it's ridiculous. When they started the crap where you couldn't get a job without a degree. They didn't care what your degree was in, but you had to have a degree to get a lot of jobs. And then you could get a degree in anything, any useless thing under the sun. And education prices kept going up and up and up and up and up. Because why not? Because the government's going to back you. They're going to get their money, and screw you if you want to not be under the foot of the government forever. What are you thinking? But right now they're going to pause those student loan payments. So yeah, but don't think they're going away, because they don't. Memorandum reinstating deferred enforcement departure for Liberians. So Liberians don't have to go anywhere, even if they're ordered to get out. That's all right. Let's see. Memorandum strengthening deferred action for childhood arrivals. DACA. DACA was an executive order to begin with, and executive orders are only good until the next president comes in and cancels it, except for Trump. If it was something that everybody wanted, they would have ran it through the Congress and made it a law, and then it would have been no problem. But they didn't do that. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. So let's see. And then that was all on day one. Now day two, executive order promoting COVID-19 safety in domestic and international travel. Because, you got to wear a mask, right? In all forms of public transportation, including airports, airplanes, and buses. So you're never going to get out of that mask. And not only that, but now they want you to wear 2, 3, There's even some people calling for 4 masks. I'm not wearing one, so they can forget that. Executive order expanding access to COVID-19 treatments. That's really funny because COVID-19 treatments, didn't President Trump say, oh, hydroxychloroquine is one of those things that's working really good. It's very cheap. It's been around forever and ever. It's, it's a good treatment. We have treatments already. And then, oh my God, you can't take hydroxychloroquine. Oh, they literally banned people from taking it. You couldn't get it. They banned doctors from prescribing it. But now, all of a sudden, that Trump is not in office anymore, now hydroxychloroquine is great and it works really good. So if that's the case, how come those people who banned it for political reasons, obviously, aren't responsible for people's deaths? Okay, executive order promoting data-driven response to COVID-19. Data-driven response. Oh my God. I just can't. They call for science, but then, science is not a monolithic thing. There's many, many views in science, and then scientists kind of like debate and talk about which theories and formulas and things that they like best and what they're going to follow. And, there's different views. If there wasn't, it really wouldn't be science anymore. It'd just be like, I don't know, the dictator says, do this, and we all do this, instead of looking for alternate methods. We would never have progressed scientifically if there was just one view. But, Memorandum supporting states' use of the National Guard in COVID-19 response. Okay. So far, I haven't seen the National Guard responding to COVID, but I have seen them surrounding the Capitol because, domestic terrorists. Executive order strengthening public health supply chain. Didn't we have a problem when the pandemic started because we realized that all our supply stuff was coming from China? And you can't say China virus anymore. They made that an executive order too. You can't, oh God, you cannot call it what it is. Executive order establishing the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force. Because that's what we need, more task force. Oh, Lord. Executive order supporting the reopening and continuing operation of schools until they decide they don't want your kids in school again. The science has said all along, the kids don't really have a problem with the COVID. So why in the flippin' hell did we take them out of school? It's literally mind-boggling. Executive order promoting workplace safety amid the pandemic. So my husband has been enormously affected by the COVID lockdowns and the whole 9 yards. I mean, it has financially ruined us. My husband is a touring musician. He did his last show before the lockdowns March 2nd of 2020. then he didn't work again uh, until he had 2 dates in October and 1 date in December. And that's it. And he doesn't have anything until the end of this coming March, if it happens, because they thought they were going to go to back to work in October, and stuff kept getting canceled. And rescheduled and moved and whatever. Anyway, so in the meantime, we got to the point where, I mean, he did get the unemployment for a while, and that was fine. That helped. But he, and boy, that pissed me off too, when, that even the Republicans were saying, oh, we can't pay people more than what they would have made at work. Well, first of all, unemployment didn't pay my husband more than what he would have made at work. And then when they say, oh, we don't need that anymore, because people are working, my husband has still not been able to return to work. But anyway, in the meantime, he has taken a temporary job working at LG. They put together washing machines and everything. They have to wear a mask. They have to wear goggles. They have to wear a face shield. And and he doesn't get paid much for doing it, but he's doing it because, I'm a realtor, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, it's very, very difficult to do what he does. The face shield fogs up. It's difficult to breathe because you don't have oxygen, after just recently, people were getting fed up, and they were pulling the mask down, down under their nose, and not wearing the shield, and, just because they're trying to work. They're trying to actually work and make it through the day without passing out. Well, since this executive order that the promoting workplace safety, they've actually, in fact, my husband just told me about this. He said they had people going through the plant yesterday, forcing people to pull up the mask, put the shield on, doing all that, and screaming and yelling and fighting with people about it. I mean, he said it was really weird. So, executive order establishing a COVID-19 pandemic testing board. Because, you got to make sure everybody gets tested, right? And that was day 2. On to day 3. Executive order expanding food assistance programs. Biden's order aims to extend the 15% increase in supplemental nutrition assistance program and allow states to increase SNAP emergency allotments, as well as increase benefits under another aid program, the Pandemic Electronic Benefits Transfer, which gives students money for food. Okay. Now, I'm not opposed to giving people more money for food. If you're not working, if your money's tight, because I can't even, money has been so tight for us. It's been really, really difficult. So I can understand that, as long as it's not being abused. But, anyway, executive order assisting veterans with debt. Biden orders the Department of Veteran Affairs with considering a freeze on federal debt and overpayment collection from about 2 million veterans. An overpayment collection. Oh, so if they overpay you, they want their money back. Yeah, I don't think they should be trying to get money back from veterans. Anyway, if they made the mistake and overpaid them, isn't that their problem? But, okay, so I'm not, Uh, but I don't think they treat veterans very good anyway. Executive order guaranteeing unemployment insurance for workers who refuse to work due to COVID-19. Who refuse to work. So you can just refuse to work and you're going to get unemployment. Isn't that marvelous? Wow. Executive orders establishing benefit delivery teams. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Executive order facilitating delivery of stimulus payments. Yeah. Uh, didn't we already get stimulus payments? I mean, wow. Executive order to address COVID-19 economic relief. I'll tell you what would work the best. Just open stuff up. Let my husband go back to work. You can't. My husband makes obviously more as a musician than he does working for LG. My husband has not worked more than 3 dates since the lockdown. And why? They want to work. I defy you to find a musician who wouldn't go back to work, pandemic or no pandemic. But if the venues can't or won't open, where are they supposed to work? So, screw off. Executive order empowering federal workers and contractors. Biden revoked a variety of measures, including a rule that made it easier to hire and fire civilian servants and policy-making positions. Oh, because you wouldn't want to have civilians, right? And they also laid the groundwork for a $15 minimum wage. And that was day 5. Day 6, executive order reversing transgender military ban. I'm sorry, but if you're transgender, you've got something wrong. There's something wrong. Now, if that's the way you want to be, cool. You be you. That's all good. But that doesn't mean that you still don't have something wrong. I'm not going to persecute you because you have something wrong, but you do. I mean, that's just, and I don't think that you should be in the military fighting next to somebody when obviously you've got some issues. But diversity is our strength. You will never get me to believe that diversity is our strength crap. People are strong when they have things in common. If you don't have things in common, you're not going to be strong. Proclamation reinstating COVID-19 travel restrictions. Affecting non-U.S. citizens traveling from Brazil and much of Europe, which Trump had scrapped days before his term ended. Additionally, the ban will bar most non-U.S. citizens from entry if they have recently been in South Africa, where a new strain of COVID-19 has been identified. Ooh, okay. So when Trump tried to keep people from coming into our country after the pandemic started, the China virus, they called him xenophobic. Biden called him xenophobic. But now it's okay. All right. Moving on. Executive order promoting Buy American agenda. Now, I'm all for Buy American, believe me. But if you really want to promote Buy American, then why do we have so much of China's shit flooding into our country? Pretty much everything you get on Amazon and stuff, that's all from China, right? And the stuff that we get, cheap plastic crap that breaks, nothing lasts anymore. So, but that, I mean, I'm all for Buy American, of course. That was day 6. Now we're on to day 7. Executive order calling for evaluation of Trump's housing policies. You need an executive order to call for an evaluation of President Trump's housing policies. Okay, but keep in mind that the Democrats want to be able to put low-income housing in a neighborhood near you. So as a realtor, a number one thing that people always ask when they're looking at neighborhoods and houses and stuff is, what's going in near it? What's around there? What's if they see something being built, they're like, what's that? Oh, that's low-income housing. Don't you just want to buy this house where you got low-income housing apartments right next to you? I can't wait. No, I don't think so. Executive order to end reliance on private prisons. Because we've got to make sure the federal government is in control of all the prisons. Because domestic terrorists. Executive order reaffirming commitment to tribal sovereignty. Executive order reaffirming commitment to tribal sovereignty. Well, doesn't that already right there say that it's already affirmed? So why would you need an executive order to say what we already know? But, Executive order denouncing anti-Asian discrimination and xenophobia. Oh, because the China virus, right? But they don't mention anything in here. It's all about COVID-19 response, and they think people are attacking Asian people because of the China virus. But they don't mention anything or have a problem with the fact that Asian kids can't get into colleges, and the colleges are blatantly discriminating against them because their scores are too high, and they can't get enough other better non-white people, right? So now moving on to day 8, executive order initiating plan to combat climate change. Oh, God. Yeah, they want to stop people from drilling for oil on federal lands. But thank God there's already, there's the states are suing because the federal lands belong to the people, and the president cannot make an executive order to tell the people to control what the people want on their lands. The people have to vote on that. Then we have Memorandum on Scientific Integrity. I like this one. Okay. The director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy will review agency policies on scientific integrity, and agencies that oversee research must designate a senior employee to ensure agency research programs are scientifically and technologically well-founded and conducted with integrity. So as long as the science agrees with what the party line is, then it's good science. Anything else is a no-no. Executive order on reestablishing Presidential Council on Science and Technology. Huh? Yeah, okay. Day 9. Executive order reinforcing Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. So don't even get me started. Actually, I do want to start. So what they're going to do is they're going to reopen the special enrollment from February 15th to May 15th, which Healthcare is a touchy subject for me because uh, as a realtor, and I just finished my first year in real estate, which coincided nicely with the pandemic, but uh, I don't have employment based healthcare. And currently, right now, I don't have any healthcare. Um, and I would like to have healthcare, but I checked out the healthcare through the marketplace, the Obamacare stuff. And for me to get even the most basic healthcare, it was going to cost 900 over $900 a month. If I had $900 to spend on healthcare premiums, not copays, not any of that stuff, just the premium, I would self-insure. I wouldn't get insurance. I would just self-insure, and that would be that. No problem. I could take that money every month, put it in a savings account. If something bad happened, I could pay for it. I could afford to get a doctor's visit here and there and tests, whatever I need. I could do that. So, yeah, Obamacare. Mm-hmm. It's not worth the paper it's written on. Truly. Memorandum expanding access to reproductive health care. That's a real good one. That is getting American taxpayers to pay for foreign abortions. So not only do taxpayers who maybe don't believe in abortion, they have to pay for foreigners' abortions now too. Because you know what? We just have so much money and we can't think of anything better to spend it on. And that's the end. That's 9 days worth of crap. And again, I want to remind people that Biden has said in the past and as recently as this past October, that you cannot legislate through executive orders. Because if you do, then you're a dictator. So he's literally telling us what he is. He's telling us he's a dictator. And to support the dictator, we have social media, deplatforming people. If they can deplatform the president of the United States, Donald Trump, they can deplatform you. And they will deplatform you. And even Democrats. If you don't fit the more and more and more narrow view of what a Democrat's supposed to think, then they don't care. They're gonna silence you. I apparently am a domestic terrorist because I'm a Trump supporter. So I'm a domestic terrorist. Yeah, it's just getting more and more crazy. I mean, it's getting scary, the crap that's happening. I can't even, I think it is time for people to stand up, make their voices heard. And it's going to get more difficult because they will silence you, but you need to be heard. There are more of us than there are of them. Otherwise, the election would not have happened the way it did. But, Orange Man bad. I hope this information helped. Please like and subscribe. And I will try to come up with some more political commentary because I think that we all need to make sure our voices are heard. Thanks for watching. Bye.